Welcome back to Barrel Banter. This is Payton.
And this is Jared, and it's just the two of us today. Will is unable to join us, but the podcast must go on, so we are here.
It must go on.
How you doing today,
Sad day,
Peyton?
Will. Yeah, I'm doing good. Missing Will today, but we'll try and keep the boat afloat a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best. So,
Yep.
as usual, we're gonna get into some of the hot topics in sports this week. Peyton, would you like to bring yours to the table first?
Yeah, sure. So this past weekend we had the NBA All-Star festivities and games. So the skills challenge that was good. Team Indianapolis won with Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, I believe, and then oh man, it's like a second-year guard from Arizona, and I'm totally blanking on his name. But they took the skills challenge, and then the 3-point contest was great. It was Dame time. He went back-to-back champs for the 3-point competition. And then we had a cool little twist with Steph going up against Sabrina from the WNBA, and Steph barely squeaked it out. It was an awesome show, and I really like the collaboration with the WNBA because those girls are badasses over there, and they should be getting spotlight with the NBA. So that was good. Dunk competition was a little but it's been like that for a while. I really thought that with Jaylen Brown, with the Celtics doing it, giving us a little star power, that it would be better. But Max McClung, I believe is his name, out of the G League, won it again, so he went back to back. It's just a bunch of young guys that are trying to make a name for themselves. So it's just hard to get into it, and it feels like everybody's just copying each other, and we're just doing the same thing over and over. But it was a good sign that Jaylen Brown joined, got some stars in there. But I think it would have been better for the dunk competition if he would have won.
Hmm.
So maybe that would have enticed some of the other stars like Giannis or whoever to join next year. But we'll see what happens. And then we had I almost forgot the celebrity game.
Hmm.
That was awesome. Dallas Cowboys defensive lineman slash linebacker, uh, good old Micah Parsons, won MVP of the celebrity game. Yeah, and it was really cool. They were playing on an LED court with like all the same they used for the dunk and the skill, which was really sweet. And I hope they keep doing that because that was definitely a nice touch. The game on Sunday was not good at all. Everybody
Tell me
was,
why.
dude, everybody was just dragging butt, and like I think it was more annoying the fact that like we've gotten some good fourth quarters these past couple years, and then everybody was building up the whole going back to West versus East and having pride on the line, and then I didn't like how they gave a snippet of Adam Silver pretty much telling them to pick it up in the All-Star game this year. And then they do the exact opposite, which was
Hmm.
like, I felt super embarrassing for the NBA, but
That's quite the recap on the NBA All Star Weekend. There's a lot
yep,
going on.
for sure.
For me, I was just mesmerized by the court. The fact that they're playing
It was awesome.
basically on top of a TV, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. How do you think the floor felt? Do you think it was like extra stiff or like extra bouncy? I don't know how the engineering of that worked.
No, truly, I would love to read into it more and understand it. But I can only assume it had to have been a thick plastic, some sort of material layer just on top of
Yeah,
displays hidden underneath. And I wouldn't doubt if it wasn't like 100% true to how they're normally used to playing on courts, but
for sure.
good enough that they can get by. I mean, like I said, it's the All Star weekend, and no one really is trying that hard, especially in the
Yeah.
game. What was the East scored 200 points plus for the first time in an All Star game, right?
Yeah. 211.
That's
Ridiculous.
absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I've seen some of the highlights from it, and they're just like the defense is just standing there watching people walk by them as they just pass the ball back and forth, and
Yeah,
it's just like nothing's happening. But that's just how it goes. I feel like the NBA does a good job of keeping the weekend pretty entertaining though, and getting
for
just
sure.
like
Yeah, they
a
do
lot of
really well.
activities in there. I also back to the Steph versus Sabrina 3-point contest as well. She shot from the NBA line, right?
I believe so.
I'm pretty
Yep.
sure she did. So I think that's just really
Yeah.
cool that she went in there and she's like, I'm shooting from the 3 point line and gave Steph a run for
Yeah,
his money
she's a
too.
stud, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So definitely a good, exciting weekend for them. Go NBA. I'm not gonna lie, it's not my most watched sport, but they did like
for
have some
sure. But
exciting stuff going on.
yeah, but they're definitely doing something right. I mean, to a degree, the NHL and the NFL have kind of copied,
Absolutely.
their all-star format of like doing, all these different events to, get everybody engaged. So, obviously they're a trailblazer on the All-Star weekend, so kudos to them.
Yeah, definitely. Good on the NBA.
What do you got for us today, Jared?
In the world of another major sports league in the United States of America, the MLB is getting back to go and spring training has kicked off. I believe pitchers and catchers reported, and
Let's
now the
go.
rest of the teams are there. So we love seeing the trickling in of the start of baseball season here. But one of the big storylines that has been popping up and causing a little bit of controversy is the new jerseys that the MLB have rolled out with Nike. I'm not sure what you've seen on them, but I believe how it goes is that Nike has the contract for the MLB jerseys. I think that's
Hmm.
even fairly recent. And this year they're trying a new, more athletic material, lighter weight jersey. And I believe they partnered with Fanatics, and Fanatics is manufacturing it.
Oh, interesting.
And the basic gist is the jerseys are lightweight. The players say they feel pretty good. Could see how it's very useful to have a nice, lightweight, breathable, athletic jersey and these hot
Yeah.
games. I mean, you think of a traditional baseball jersey, it is thick and buttons,
Oh, yeah.
all the sort. Um, but they look terrible. The players said they look absolutely awful.
Oh, really?
They look so cheap. The best way to put it is it's like going to Alibaba and buying the knockoff jersey for your favorite player. Some of the big gripes are that if you compare traditional jerseys from last year and the new jersey side by side, the font size for the last names on these new jerseys is absolutely minuscule. And so the names are so tiny at the top, and then there's a massive gap between the name and and the numbering. So it looks like just awkwardly got ironed on a last name and numbers, and it's just like there's no flow. It doesn't look right. And these are the jerseys that teams are going to be putting up in their clubhouses and their team stores for fans to be spending $150 to buy, and the players are like,
No shot.
"This is they're terrible." So you have to take a look at them and see because some names look absolutely worse than others depending on the
Yeah.
length of it. But the commissioner came out and said that the whole normal. We have a great relationship with Nike, and we think the jerseys they make are excellent, and the players are really going to enjoy the experience of playing in these new age lightweight jerseys. Blah blah blah. But they look bad. That's just the whole thing. They look like iron-on Alibaba jerseys.
Jeez. Yeah, that a couple points on that. I haven't seen it, but it almost sounds like, do you remember I would assume they still do it. I don't want to name drop the stores, but you remember like the grocery stores that would sell like baseball and football jerseys and they were just super cheap and
The
thin and
jerseys,
papery. That's what it
like
sounds like.
T-shirt
Yeah.
jerseys. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
basically jerseys.
Wow. And that's just weird, dude, cuz like Nike is like the forefront of like, sports jerseys, sporting everything. So that's kind of weird that it looks so crappy. And who's approving this and thought it was a good idea to show the players if it looks this bad?
I think overall they're really going for what is the right word here? Function over form. They're trying to get these jerseys that are going to be better for their players to wear, and they're expecting that over time the criticisms of the looks will fade. But at the end of the day, like I think there's just like a classic aesthetic to a baseball jersey, and now
Oh
taking that
yeah,
away is going to be really interesting. I mean, I can't imagine. I think so far the Phillies were the first team to get spotted in them, but like thinking of traditional baseball jerseys, like the Yankees, who historically like, they don't put last names on their jerseys. I think it's just going to
yeah,
look so awkward. But we'll have to see. So
yeah. I
that's
mean, I hope at least if they're gonna look this crappy, I hope they did some research and this better be able to allow guys to hit more bombs and we better be able to see a center fielder throwing somebody out at home just because he's got so much more
Yeah,
mobility in his arm.
yeah.
Like, it better be a great performance benefit.
Absolutely. Maybe that's what's in the bag, and we just don't know it yet. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
In other baseball
Wow, that's
news,
weird.
there just a couple fun things. I mean, one of them's not really fun, but like the baseball commissioner Rob Manfred has announced his retirement for 2029.
Yeah, I saw that. That's weird.
Yeah, way to give a 5 year notice. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe he's trying to give a good enough time for the MLB to find a replacement, which is fair, but it's just like, okay, 5 years from now, great, thanks. We're all going to forget about it, but cool.
Because he just got a new term, right? Not too long ago.
It must have been so because he said this is when his contract is set to expire in 29 that he's done.
Interesting.
So I guess, why not get it out on the table and we'll figure out what's future. But I don't really have any, like, I don't know. I just have neutral thoughts about him as a commissioner. I don't really have any, like,
Yeah.
great or negative feelings. He's just kind of there. So that's happening. But my other fun fact about baseball is my last one here is there is a college baseball player from Sacramento State who in a doubleheader was hit by pitch 8 times in 9 at bats.
What?
Yes.
What?
Absolutely insane numbers. I don't really even know how it's like physically possible, how the universe lets that happen, but you got to think after a while that they're just doing it because it's a meme at that point.
Yeah, what did this guy do?
But absolutely, absolutely monster numbers. He joked at the end that he's okay with taking a bump on his on base percentage. So, there's always a silver lining there, but absolutely hilarious that 9 at bats in a doubleheader, you get hit 8 times.
Yeah, I just want to know who he pissed off because I mean, they could just walk him if he's a
Yeah.
hell of a batter, but to get hit that many times, like, what'd he do? Did he like put dog feces on the other team's bus, or like did he steal their equipment? Like, he had
Yeah.
to piss somebody off horribly.
Yeah, something against a pitching coach, but I mean, the dude's got to
Yeah,
be battered and bruised. I'm like, my first I was like, are you crowding the plate? Are you leaning over, just taking it?
yeah,
What? I don't know, but
that's wild.
yeah.
That's a hell of a stat to find.
Yeah, so there's been some good baseball news. So we're excited for the new season. Some weird stuff going on, but that is the world of baseball, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year. I'm interested to see, especially how the Dodgers do with their paying the world to
Mm-hmm.
win another pennant. So
Yeah.
there's a
Real,
lot of good storylines this year.
on that one, also, real quick, I've heard that the state of California is now getting upset that the Dodgers have wrote those kind of contracts and are trying to figure out a way to get the taxes that they so rightfully believe they should be having because theoretically, Shohei is going to get paid 100 grand and he's going to pay taxes on that. And in 20 years, when he goes back to live in Japan, California is not getting any of that millions that they're paying him.
Jeez, what a cluster.
So that's good fun. We'll see how that plays out, but that's their problem for a couple decades from now, right? What was it, 10 years?
Yeah, yeah, 10-year forever contract
Yeah.
practically.
So good stuff there. But since we
Wow.
don't have Will here, we don't have Will's topic. I don't really know what he wanted to really to talk about, but what we were going to do to move in together was a segment that we were going to go and talk about Formula One, our loved sport. And in the world of Formula One, we have all the liveries are out now. So we have all the teams, all the lovely liveries, and all the things to banter about and compare. So, Peyton, let's talk liveries.
Liveries, yeah. So I've seen a lot of polls on and rankings from people a lot more knowledgeable than us in the F1 circles, but I'm gonna have to be honest with you. I didn't agree with a lot of the rankings, but my top three favorite ones. I'll give you my top three favorite, and then the one I like the least. Top
Yes.
three would have to be Ferrari,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like the gold and white stripes they put on it, but that kind of got some heat and backlash,
Yeah.
which is weird. But I like them, and then obviously the Aston Martin, British Racing Green was another top, which you can't You can't deny that. And then my third one that was my favorite was actually the RB Visa Cash App livery. We talked a little bit about this last week. It just looks like a Hot Wheel, and it kind of like feels almost like a throwback to 10, 20 years ago when everybody just had super flamboyant, liveries, and it
Mm-hmm.
just looked like, a crazy spectacle on the grid. So those are my top three, and then my least favorite one. It's gonna be a tie between the Williams livery and the oh gosh, just blanked on it. Alpine.
Mm-hmm.
The Alpine livery was terrible. I mean, we've gotten to know and love the bright pink for the BWT sponsor, and there's barely any of it, and it's practically all carbon. It's just a terrible look. And like the parts they did paint, it's got really amazing detail on it. It's just maybe 10% of the car, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I love those takes there. I do. I do. I love also that you are backing your boys in Ferrari. I did hear a lot about the hate on the little stripes that they're including the yellow and white. I'm
Yeah,
also, I don't hate it, but I guess some people have the artistic opinion. But those are some good takes. I feel like I have some similar ones there. I got the pictures pulled up here to help me remember, but um, definitely, I want to say I have to give kudos in my top three for the V Carb '01 Visa Cash App RB. I
there you
think
go.
purely when I just looking at the whole playing field of cars, um, it's painted, it's colorful, and not only is it painted, it's a glossy paint. It's not a matte, so it really pops. Um, Thinking about how many sponsors they had to fit in there with Visa and Cash App
Yeah.
and Red Bull and Hugo and all that. I think they did a fine job with it. So I definitely love that. It's going to be exciting to see on track. And then probably let's see. So this is where it's tough. I actually really like the McLaren. I think the McLaren's a lot cleaner this year. The
Yeah.
black and orange is a really stealthy but like nice look. There's plenty of color there, and I do like it. I think it's gonna look good on track. And the McLaren just kind of has like a classic color scheme now. They finally got rid of that blue that was hanging on for no reason from
Yeah.
the Golf days. I really like that. And I'm not gonna lie, so here we go. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go Aston Martin. I think Aston Martin is a beautiful livery. It's kind of one of those like if it's not broke, no need to fix it. The British
Exactly.
Racing Green looks great. The stripe is nice. I think the Aston Martin's really clean. I'm curious to see if this trend continues about more carbon eating it from the bottom up, what it might look like next year. But I think they did a good job with that. And then least favorite, I'm straight with you all the way down to Alpine. It's I think it's the expectation for me was just absolutely shattered with what they showed up with.
Yep.
Their social media was posting camouflage pink car parts, like
Dude,
full
that would have been
on
so
pink
sick.
camo, and that would have been
Yeah.
absolutely sick, even if it was the first three races of the year, like they have done to show their support for their sponsor BWT.
Yeah.
But the only redeeming quality I can think about from their car is that their wheel covers look cool. Their front one is blue and their back one is pink, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But I did hear somebody say it looks like a paint by numbers that they did 10% of and forgot to do the rest, and I think that's a great take.
Yeah.
So
It's spot on.
yeah, I think it was just shattered expectations, and I can't believe that BWT, with how much they take pride in their color scheme of pink and probably how much money they pay Alpine, let them get away
Oh
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
So
crazy, dude.
poor lads, I think they really took the brunt of it. But I have to bring up one more and mention one more, just kind of like in the middle. I wasn't sure what to think of it, and I like it more now, but I'm still not sure, and I need to see it on track. But it's the Mercedes. What are your feelings on the Mercedes with the basically dual livery? It's the silver arrows from the top, but the
Yeah.
blacked out Mercedes from the side.
Yeah, at first I did not like it at all, but, to your point, it's kind of grown on me, and I think I'll be 100% sold when it's on track and if that silver really pops, especially, on the all the day races. But yeah, I kind of like it. They're trying to do a best of both worlds, as long as we don't lose more silver as the year goes on. I'm fine with, which I've heard conspiracy theories, people saying, a lot of these cars, like after the first handful of races, are going to go more and more carbon.
Hmm.
Which, if that happens, that's going to just be atrocious. Can't stand that. But it is growing on me. I really want to see it on track in the testing here in a couple weeks. But yeah, it's growing on me. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely think. I mean, when it first came out, we were texting each other, and I said, I don't hate it. I'm not sure if I should love it. I just like it. It's clean, but I'm just not sure what to think of it. And I think the more I see it, I think it is going to be a really clean look. I love that it is the like one of my fears in all these cars getting more and more carbon and less colorful is when it's lights out and away we go and they're showing the first corner and all the cars coming at you. You're not gonna have a clue who is who because they're all gonna be the
No,
same black. But I'm glad that the nose cone and the whole top is silver, and that's gonna be a really great way just to see that car.
for sure.
And I think it's a great blend. There's references going back to, I believe, 2021. Mercedes kind of did this combination livery, but they did it where the front half, like the nose, was silver and the back was black, or vice versa. And that looked
Yeah.
odd. So this one's definitely a much cleaner way. So I like it. I think it's going to be good. But yeah, it's definitely grown on me. It's definitely grown on me.
I wish McLaren would bring back the white. Like it should, like I wish they would have gone like all papaya and white like they did for their Silverstone livery last year. What was it in of the Triple Crown was what they were paying respects to or something like that.
Oh
Um
yes, they did. Did they do three different liveries for the Triple Crown? The
yeah, it
black.
was Le Mans, Indy, and then F1.
Yes, yes.
So I would like to see the white because I thought that was a clean look. So hopefully that could come back at some point this year.
Yeah, and it last year I think was a showing that a lot of teams did have special one-off liveries as well. So maybe that'll be a kind of
Mm-hmm.
continuation. I know Williams had Red Bull had McLaren had So hopefully we'll see some one-off liveries and maybe there's some more creativity. But man, I'm really hoping these engineers just wake up and realize that not painting their car is maybe worth a thousandth of a second, and they just need to paint them for the
Yeah,
fans.
I mean, for the fans, do it for the fans. Yeah, I'd be really interested to see like everybody's like getting better car parts and stuff. So and making upgrades. So I'm really interested to see like if a RB car jumps up to like fourth place, like, okay, yeah, they're one of the people that has the most paint and they're passing all these carbon cars. So, I mean, obviously upgrades and, their aero and everything makes a difference, but I just would like to see these painted cars just crush it and show
Mm-hmm.
the carbon guys, like, see, there was no point in trying to shave a thousandth of a second or whatever. So,
100%. So yeah, we got testing coming up in a couple of days here. It starts this week, so I mean, it's not going to tell us much, but it's getting that much closer
yeah,
to cars on track and for the race weekend in a couple weeks here. So I'm a little
yeah,
scared that Red Bull is going to absolutely sweep the floor with this monster of a thing they came out with.
yeah.
But
Can't wait to see that.
can't wait to see how the shoulders on that thing work. Absolute gargantuan shoulders. It even
Yeah.
makes like the
It looks
Red
like a
Bull logo.
spaceship, dude.
Yeah. It's like they awkwardly had to throw the Red Bull logo on there because it didn't fit where it used to, and you can't even see the
Yeah.
driver numbers.
Do you think any team's gonna have like a meltdown of a oh crap moment like Mercedes did last year in testing?
I don't know because testing just so hard to determine like what really is real and what the teams are putting out there and kind of like they like to play their cards close to their chest because if Formula One people are good at anything, it's reverse engineering other people's creations. So I don't know who's gonna go out there and go full beans and just absolutely tank it, but who knows? Maybe it's steak. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows? But it's exciting times, man. I'm ready to get this season kicked off for sure.
Yeah. Me too. So, well, that's good on the livery front. I think we're both excited for Formula One. I know Will is too, and hopefully we can get him back into using scheduling and calendars and the abilities to join us for this podcast. But we'll see.
Yeah, I know. I don't Did you approve his vacation day for today? Because I sure did.
No, the man's does not have enough paid time off to do this to us, but we'll have to discuss that outside the
Yeah,
episode.
we'll take it up with HR.
Thanks for joining me on this one. It's been a pleasure.
Yep.
We got to work on an intro. We're doing this live. We don't know it. So please submit your thoughts on what our outro should be. I think I just said intro, but I mean outro. So to the fans who loyally listen to us, please help us with this outro.
Here we go. I'm going to give it a crack real quick. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. This has been the latest episode of Barrel Banter. This is Payton.
This is Jared.
This is Will.
And we'll catch you next time at Barrel Banter.
You've just listened to an episode of Barrel Banter Podcast. Subscribe to the show so you'll be notified every time a new episode drops. Support the show by giving us a 5-star rating and sharing with your friends. Follow us on social media at Barrel Banter Podcast.